Long ago, in a quiet village hidden between the mountains, there lived a potter and his young son. Every morning they walked together to the river. The father carried a large woven basket. The boy carried a smaller one. Together they gathered soft clay from the riverbank and carried it back to their little workshop. The boy loved watching his father work. Under his father's hands, shapeless clay became cups, plates, and bowls. But one day, the father placed the boy's small hands over his own. "Today," he said, "we will make one together." Slowly, carefully, the clay began to rise between their fingers. It became a simple bowl. Not the finest bowl in the village, not the most perfect. But to the boy, it was more beautiful than anything his father had ever made. That night, they sat outside beneath a full moon. The father placed the finished bowl into his son's hands and pointed toward the sky. "One day," he said, "we will see the moon inside this bowl." The boy smiled, and he believed him. A few mornings later, the father prepared for a long journey. He packed food, tied a blanket to his back, and placed his tools inside a worn cloth bag. The boy stood silently in the doorway, holding the bowl against his chest. "When will you return?" he asked. The father knelt before him. He placed one hand gently on the boy's head. "Before too many moons have passed," he said. Then he looked at the bowl. "Keep it safe." The boy followed him to the edge of the village. He watched his father walk along the narrow mountain path. For a while the father turned and waved. Then the mist grew thicker. His shape became smaller. And finally, he disappeared. The boy remained there long after the path was empty, still holding the bowl, still waiting. The first full moon came. The boy carried the bowl outside and lifted it toward the sky. He waited for his father. But the mountain path remained empty. The second full moon came. Then the third. Summer passed. Autumn leaves covered the road. Winter snow buried the stones beneath white silence. Each month the boy placed the bowl beneath the moon, and each month his father did not return. The villagers stopped speaking about him. Some looked away when the boy asked questions. Others simply lowered their eyes. In time, the boy understood what no one had been brave enough to tell him. His father was not coming home. Still, every full moon, he carried the bowl outside. Because letting go of the bowl felt like letting go of his father, and the boy was not ready to lose them both. One evening, dark clouds gathered above the village. The wind moved through the trees. Rain began to fall. The boy stood outside beneath the storm, holding the bowl in both hands. He looked toward the mountain path one last time. Nothing moved beyond the rain. No footsteps, no shadow, no father returning through the mist. The boy lowered his head. His hands began to tremble. The bowl slipped from his fingers. For one brief moment, it seemed to float between the sky and the earth. Then it struck the ground. The sound was small, but inside the boy it felt louder than thunder. The bowl shattered into pieces. The boy drops to his knees. He gathered the fragments with shaking hands, but every piece he picked up only showed him what could no longer be made whole. He covered his face and wept. He believed he had broken the last thing his father had left him, and with it, the last piece of hope he still carried. An old monk was walking through the rain when he saw the boy. He stopped beside him. Without speaking, the monk knelt and began collecting the broken pieces. The boy looked up. "It cannot be repaired," he whispered. The monk studied the fragments in his hands. "Perhaps not as it was," he said. He carried the pieces to a small shelter and placed them on a wooden table. From his bag he removed a brush, dark lacquer, and a small box of golden powder. Piece by piece he began joining the bowl together. The boy watched as the broken edges met again. But the monk did not hide the cracks. Instead, he covered them with gold. The thin golden lines spread across the bowl like rivers of light. When the work was finished, the bowl was no longer smooth. It was no longer perfect, but it seemed to hold something it had never held before. A story. The boy touched one of the golden seams. "Why did you not hide where it broke?" he asked. The monk looked at him. "Because what has been broken should not always be ashamed of surviving." That night, the monk led the boy beyond the village. They walked through tall grass until they reached a silent lake. The full moon hung above the mountains. Its light rested upon the water. The monk placed the repaired bowl into the boy's hands. "Fill it," he said. The boy knelt beside the lake. Carefully, he lowered the bowl into the water. The golden cracks shimmered beneath the moonlight. When the bowl was full, the boy placed it on a flat stone. At first, he saw only the dark surface of the water. Then the ripples became still, and slowly the moon appeared inside the bowl. The boy stared at it. For a moment, he remembered his father's words. "One day, we will see the moon inside this bowl." The promise had come true, but his father was not there to see it. The boy's eyes filled with tears. The monk sat beside him. "Some promises," he said, "are not fulfilled in the way we expect." The boy looked again at the moon inside the bowl. It was broken by the golden lines, and yet it was still beautiful. The boy finally understood. His father would not return. No bowl could bring him back. No moon could change what had happened. But the love his father had placed inside his hands had never disappeared. It had remained in the clay, in the memory of the river, in the shape of the bowl, and now in every golden crack. The boy held the repaired bowl against his chest. For the first time, he did not wait for footsteps on the mountain path. He simply sat beside the lake and watched the moon. Years later, people would travel from distant villages to see the golden bowl. They called it the bowl that carried the moon. But the boy knew the truth. Before it broke, the bowl could only hold water. After it broke, it learns to hold a memory. And sometimes, what returns to us is not the person we lost, but the light they left behind.